Hi, well, we're back. As you can see, we've created our business layer that contains all of our domain-specific information. It's a very simple layer. We've only got applicants, a list of applicants that belong to a secondary school. If you attempt to actually run this application, you'll get an error that says, whoa, wait a minute, you can't actually run a class library directly. So what we've done in the past tutorials is we've added test code, which allows us to do the full testing of the classes. When we ran these tests, you can see that everything is passed, and when we look at the code coverage, we see that we've got 100% coverage for each and every line of our code. So we're in a pretty good position to move on here. What we're going to do to add the business, to add the presentation layer, is simply to add another project. So I'm clicking on the solution, and then I'm going to add new project. And in this case, the project that I'd like to add, again, it could be a different language. It could be VB.NET, even though we've done the presentation layer in C#. But I'm going to stick to C#, do it in Windows, and make it a Windows form application. I'm going to name my application the presentation layer, which is my graphical user interface or GUI layer. By default, the form and the form name is not particularly good, so I recommend the first thing that you do is you actually change it, being careful not to drop the C# extension. So we'll call this our main school form. Okay, and it asks if you'd like to rename additional things that are associated with the name of your initial form, which is always a good idea. Okay, I also recommend that you give a better property to the title of your caption. So I'm going to highlight my form and hit the F4 key. That allows me to bring up my properties, and you can see that the text field, which is your caption, might be changed to something more appropriate. Secondary school solution gives us a better feel for what this particular GUI is all about. And like many tools, you can do this manually, but it's probably much easier to do. I'm just going to pin this open to work with my buttons. It's probably easier to work with the toolkits and the graphical user interface builders. All I'm going to do with the main form right now is simply to find the menu strip and to drag it up near the upper left-hand corner of my screen. And because my current task is to work with applicants, I'm going to make my applicants the top of my menu. And here, I know I've got two tasks to do, so I'm going to add new applicants, ... indicating that I'm going to have a dialog box pop up. And here I'm going to have another window called View Applicants, which will bring up a second form. Okay, so at this point, just to recap briefly, I now have my business layer, my presentation layer. My presentation layer currently has one form in it. You can look at the form in two different ways. If you right-click here, you see that you get the option to view the code or view the designer. The designer is what's currently exposed. If you click on View Code, you'll see that this is a partial class. Most of the code is stored behind the scenes. It is a good idea to know what's going on back there, but very little code is actually generated at this point.